Hello and welcome. You tune into Market Fatafat with me, Ankita Saxena, and with me is Sharad Dubey. In the next half an hour, we'll get you all the top buzzers in trade, either on the back of news flow or on the back of technical charts. But first up, let's take stock of how the market is shaping up at this juncture. Sharad, good recovery coming in. In fact, from the day's lows, we have recovered at least on the Nifty, we've recovered almost 115 odd points. In Nifty Bank, a sharper recovery of almost 300 odd points from the day's lows.
Exactly, Ankita, and the markets are giving a cheer, but it's still a range-bound market. If you look at it, the last 6 weeks there was selling, and today Nifty kind of recovering in, and see almost 0.5% up, 24,490 levels. So it's just a 10 point shy away from the 24,500 mark, and if it sustains above the 24,600 levels, then we can see a good up move as well. But the closing will be very important to look at. Nifty Bank also, we see a good recovery coming in, aided by a push coming in from the PSU banking sector, especially SBI as well, which is one of the top gainers in the Nifty index. Tata Motors also good guidance coming from JLR, and we are seeing it's one of the top gainers in the Nifty index. And Adani group of stocks also in the green. The only space, the AC and the AC ancillary stocks, they have taken a beating as the numbers are coming in, guidances are getting cut, and today itself PG Electroplast also down almost 14 odd percent, Voltas down 6 odd percent. So this is the total market mapping happening, and this is a truncated week of trade, do remember that. And joining us in Markets Fatafat is Sameet Chavan. He's the head of research and technical derivatives at Angel One, and also Kanishka would be joining us from the research team as well. But first, of course, we'll be looking at how the market is actually shaping up. Sameet, I'd like your views on the Nifty Bank. Is there any trade or a sell on rise move?
Good afternoon. See, as far as market is concerned, undoubtedly, overall trend in the recent past has been negative. Any bounce back is getting sold into. But if you look at the FIIs position, since last couple of weeks, it has been at FIIs long short ratio is sub 10, which is considered as extremely oversold territory. So this does not mean immediately will get a bounce, but from current level, the downside at least seems limited, wherein 24,400, 24,200 seems to be a very strong support. Any trigger on the global or domestic front, positive trigger could result into a sharp short covering rally. So as of now, as a trader, there's no risk reward favorable as such on the short side. But if you're an aggressive trader, one can take a punt by going long at current level, keeping a stop loss which is last 3 days low below 24,335, and expect a bounce back towards say 24,650 to 24,700.
Alright, so those are the levels to watch out for on Nifty, and that's how the view for the market. But let's get started with all the top buzzers then, the stocks that are in focus. First up is Zidus Life. That stock was up almost 2% in trade today, and the buying interest came in after the US FDA gave its approval for the diltiazem hydrochloride tablets. Now, diltiazem hydrochloride tablets help manage chronic able angina and angina due to coronary artery spasm, and it belongs to the class of drugs called calcium channel blockers. Now, the drug works by relaxing blood muscles, which reduces the workload on the heart and increases blood and oxygen supply to the heart muscle. On the back of this US FDA approval, Zidus Life is up in a way 1.7% in trade today.
Well, yes, very confusing name for the drug, but very nicely done up, Ankita. But let's move on. Sameet, PB Fintech. We are seeing a new age tech stocks, some long positions are also coming in. What are your views on PB Fintech? Sameet, if you could unmute your views on PB Fintech. Yeah. Well, I think there is a technical glitch coming in when it comes for Sameet, but we'll be back to him. But let's focus on the defense stocks. These defense stocks are in focus because FY25 number of the production for the Indian defense, that has gone up and jumped at 18% on a year-on-year basis. Strong commentary also coming for the government companies. Now, interestingly, the order books announcement, they have also started coming in. So it will be interesting to look at stocks such as Bharat Electronics, HL also in the meet. Also, Mazgaon Dock and the shipping building stocks, they would be also in focus as order flows might be announced as the parliament session is undergoing.
Alright, so all the defense names on the back of that they are buzzing in trade. But we've got Sameet back. Sameet, if you can hear us, you had picked out PB Fintech for us. In fact, that stock is up almost 3.5% alone today in today's trading session. Tell us what do you see on the charts for this?
See, if you look at its price action in last 1.5 months, prices have done nothing. In fact, it has been oscillating within a range of say 1900, 1920 on the high side, and low side. There's a strong multiple support zone. That has been built around 1700. And since morning, we are seeing good traction in this counter. If you look at the volume activity, the volumes have been quite robust. Hence, it provides some sort of credence to the move. As far as levels are concerned, once the stock surpasses 1835, 1840 on a closing basis, we could at least see the stock coming out of decent slumber phase, and then probably it can head towards the 2000 mark. So as of now, the bias should remain on the positive side. Once the confirmation of the breakout comes beyond 1835, that could unfold a good rally in the near term.
All right, so that's PB Fintechs on the charts. Let's move on to the next counter, which is in focus, and that is Tata Motors. Tata Motors came out with its Q1 results. A mixed set coming in there. Kanishka, take us through the fine print of the numbers then.
That's right. So like you said, it's a mixed set of numbers when it comes to Q1 for Tata Motors. Consolidated revenue that fell about 3% on a year-on-year basis. EBITDA slumped 35% with margins contracting by 470 basis points to 9.3%. However, the market is reacting quite positively, on the guidance front, given the guidance that we have received from Tata Motors. 3% of an uptick is what we are seeing. But let's also take a look at what brokerages are making of this results. They remain cautious, however. Motilal Oswal, for instance, has cut its target price to 631 rupees, maintaining a neutral stance, citing headwinds for JLR and the passenger vehicle segment. Nuvama, on the other hand, that has retained its reduced call with a target price of 610 rupees, flagging muted growth ahead for both JLR and India's CV segment due to soft demand, tariffs and competition from railways. So rather cautious commentary coming in from brokerages. However, the market is reacting quite positively to the numbers of Tata Motors, and as we can see, it's up about 3% in trade right now.
All right, Tata Motors doing rather well in trade, seeing a jump of almost 3% in trade. But let's move on to the next counter, which is in focus, and that is M&M, another auto name that is in focus on the back of the operational updates that it has come out with. Now, M&M is trading right now with gains of more than 0.5%. So if you look at the July 2025 total production, that rose 17% on a year-on-year basis to 82,862 units. The sales are also up 25% on a year-on-year basis to 80,900 units, and the exports are up 83% on a year-on-year basis to 2,774 units. Now, Mahindra & Mahindra ESG rating has also been upgraded by CRISIL to 66 from an earlier 65, retaining the strong status and highest amongst the auto OEMs that are rated. So on the back of this rating upgrade and on the back of the good number, the good production number that's coming in, operational numbers for M&M is trading with gains of more than 0.5% in trade. All right, let's move on to the next counter then in focus, and that is Oil India. Sameet, you picked out Oil India for us. Tell us on the charts, what do you see for Oil India?
See, with crude oil strengthening a bit, it seems that the Oil India is now moving downwards. It's been hovering around its critical support of 420, 425 since last 2 to 3 weeks, and since morning we are seeing good selling pressure in this counter. There's a key support around 415. It's a make or break level for Oil India, at least in the near term. Once we see a breakdown happening below 415, the stock can slide towards first towards say 402 and then probably towards 392. So overall chart structure does not look positive at all. Once the breakdown happens below 415, this weakness is likely to extend.
Well, Oil India is something to watch out for. The stock is up almost 3% and also crude derivative is something the impact analysis where these stocks or indices Oil India react generally. But from the banking space, there's a pressure coming in, that is ICICI Bank. The stock itself is trying to do a recovery after RBI governor stated that private banks have the responsibility to actually judge their minimum savings accounts. Now, ICICI Bank has hiked the average monthly minimum savings balance for at least metros and urban areas, and that has gone up 5 times from 10,000 rupees to 50,000 odd rupees, and this is applicable from 1st August for new accounts. The existing account holders and the salary accounts, this is not applicable. Immediate impact would be on the CASA numbers and a knee-jerk reaction coming in the day's trade also when it comes for ICICI Bank, as ICICI Bank would be focusing much more on the premium customers and also improving their costing efficiencies as well. Now, of course, there is an important update coming in, and RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra had to say something on this issue. Please listen in.
All right, let's move on listening to what the RBI Governor has to say about the matter, like Sharad mentioned.
मिनिमम बैलेंस की जो बात है, जो मिनिमम बैलेंस का जो आप बात कर रहे हो, वो उसके अंदर में रिजर्व बैंक ने सभी बैंकों के ऊपर में छोड़ा है कि वो किस प्रकार का मिनिमम बैलेंस वो रखना चाहते। तो अब किसी बैंक ने 10,000 रखा है, किसी ने 2,000 कईयों ने माफ भी किया हुआ है, लेकिन ये रेगुलेटरी डोमेन में नहीं है।
Well, important update coming from RBI Governor and ICICI Bank as well. But let's take a short break for Markets Fatafat. After the break, we're going to continue our question and answers when it comes to the stocks. Welcome back to Markets Fatafat, and the July Amphi data is out. The initial numbers coming in. The equity inflows, that has gone up almost 42,702 crore rupees, and that's a very strong number. Overall inflows, of course, that's on the higher side as well. And we won't talk about the debt portion a lot because there are adjustments in the corporate and treasury, but the equity inflows, that might be its lifetime high levels or at a multi-monthly high levels, and that is a very big number. Also interestingly, the total AUM and equity AUM, that is also near its record high levels. Now, in the matter of 15 to 20 odd minutes, we would be getting the SIP data for July as well, and it's most likely that it will be coming at a record high levels of 27,000 crore plus. So very interesting data coming in for the Amphi segment and the rise of retail. 3-4 days ago, we had mentioned earlier that the demat accounts had also crossed the 20 crore mark for the month of July. So the retail strength is there in the market, the DI strength is there in the market. And now let's focus back to the stocks itself, and we will be giving you the SIP numbers in a short while as well. And now you see the AUM levels on the screen, the total AUM also, both of them are at the record high levels. We are awaiting the SIP data, but before that, we will be of course looking at the stocks as well. Kanishka is there waiting with us from the capital goods segment, Cummins India. What are you gathering from this stock, Kanishka?
That's right. So Cummins India is in focus today after a strong set of Q1 numbers that we saw. But brokerages, they are divided on the outlook when it comes to Cummins India. Avendus, first of all, that has maintained its sell rating but has raised the target price to 3,263 rupees, flagging persistent export market weakness, and it expects EBITDA margins to stabilize at that 19% level. It also sees 11% revenue and 9% PAT CAGR growth over FY25-27, with growth in power gen segments led by data center and infra demand. On the other hand, we have Antique, which has maintained a buy call on the stock, lifted its target to 4,325 rupees, citing Cummins' market leadership in diesel gen sets, strong domestic tailwinds and export recovery despite the geopolitical challenges that we have been seeing. Motilal Oswal, on the other hand, that has also maintained its buy call, raising the target to 4,350 rupees, highlighting an all-round beat in Q1. Strong power gen growth and steady margins around that 19.7% level through FY28, though it expects some slight gross margin contraction post CPCB 4+ price normalization. So that's the word coming from brokerages when it comes to Cummins India. However, this, the sector as a whole is seeing some pressure today, with Cummins India down about 0.5% as we speak.
All right, that's Cummins India. But Sharad, I have to talk to you about the numbers that have come from the Amphi data. Of course, we're awaiting the SIP numbers that we're watching out for. But look at the inflows, especially the equity inflows. Despite the global volatility and the continuous FII selling, the DIIs and the retail investors are still intact. I mean, the strength of the domestic market.
That's a very good point you have raised. And interestingly, Ankita, the portion in the cash holdings is still 6 to 7% for the DIs. DIs FIs have been buying for the 25 straight sessions.
Yeah.
And interestingly, in our favor,
Yeah.
FIs have actually bought over after last almost 14 to 15 hours of session selling. And if you look at the numbers, you see the equity AUM, the total AUM, both of them are at record levels.
Yeah.
SIP is expected to be coming at record levels. That'll get confirmed in a matter of minutes. And interestingly, the equity inflow, I'll check the data, but I think it is the highest ever equity inflow coming. That means so much uncertainty from FIs, DIs are standing up.
Absolutely, and that just shows the strength of the Indian markets. But we are awaiting the SIP numbers. We'll get you the SIP numbers as soon as they are out. But let me come to you on that note, Sameet. You picked out Indian Bank for us. Again, a bank that has done pretty well. In fact, it has hit its all-time high today. The entire PSB basket is doing very well. Tell us on the charts, how does Indian Bank look to you?
The entire PSU banking space is on a roll since morning, and if you look at the overall performance of Indian Bank, this has been one of the outperforming stocks within this space. In fact, as we speak, the stock is now trading at its all-time highs, have entered an uncharted territory. And if you look at it, its overall price and volume activity in last couple of months, it suggests that the stock is likely to continue its northward move. As far as immediate levels are concerned, 680, 685 can be tested very soon. But, over the next few weeks, we will not be surprised to see the stock even surpassing the 700 mark.
All right, so that's Indian banks on the charts. But let's move on to the next counter that is in focus, and that is Brigade Enterprise. Now, Brigade has launched a Brigade Cherry Blossom, a 20-acre plotted project in East Bengaluru with a revenue potential of over 225 crore rupees. On the back of that, Brigade Enterprise is up in a way. In fact, currently it is hovering around the day's highest point. It is trading up almost 1.5%.
Well, yes, textile stocks are in focus, and the industry, of course, has suffered an injury when it comes to the initial knee-jerk reaction coming in from Donald Trump as tariffs have been implemented, and the textile industry would be in focus as the government might release some more SOPs coming in this segment as well. And based on that theme itself, interestingly, the best part is that for the new companies, they can apply for the PLI scheme, and that has been extended to the end of August as well. So that augurs well. But still, it's expected that there will be more corrections coming in and more clarity will come as the August 27 deadline emerges. So that is something which we'll be watching out for.
All right, that was the last set of stocks for the day. Sameet and Kanishka, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us with all the buzzers. But the fourth season of this prestigious Times Now Amazing Indian Awards will be held in National Capital on August 11th. Dignitaries, change makers and luminaries from across the country will come together to honor these exceptional individuals. Let's take a look.
They are not celebrities, but their actions have created ripple effects of change. Amazing Indians is an awards platform that recognizes extraordinary citizens making an impact at the grassroots. After reviewing hundreds of nominations, a distinguished jury has handpicked 12 winners for this year's honors. This year, our chief guest is Mansukh Lakshman Bhai Mandavia, Minister of Labour and Employment and Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports.
It's a great way to put the limelight on people who have very humble beginnings, who are really driven only by passion, and the way they have been able to impact the society, community, entire ecosystem in some of the stories is truly inspirational.
These are the people who don't need an award. Awards get honored by bringing these people forward.
The awards span across 12 powerful categories.
How people are trying to focus on others and improve lives. So to me, I think Amazing Indians is not only about amazing Indians. It is amazing Indians doing amazing things for the world.
I think amazing Indians are truly amazing. Some of the people that we reviewed, what they've achieved, what they tried to do, their background, where they come from, and the impact they've made, they are really amazing. So for me, it was a humbling experience, it was eye-opening, and I think we need to make more and more such heroes.
Unlike conventional award shows, Amazing Indians shines a spotlight on real-life heroes who've remained in the shadows.
unsung heroes are actually doing it for us without our knowledge, and it's whatever we appreciate is less, in my opinion, for all these people.
Mark your calendars for 11th August. Catch the live updates and exclusive coverage on Times Network channels. Stay tuned. Be inspired. Don't miss it.
And well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Market Fatafat. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. Market action continues on ET Now.